If you're planning to build your new PC, but you're not sure if the CPU you've chosen will bottleneck your GPU, this video is for you. Today we'll explore what bottleneck really is, how it affects your gaming performance, and how to avoid it. First of all, let's try to better understand what a bottleneck actually is. It's the situation in which one component is much slower than another one that needs to work in cooperation with the slower one, resulting in an overall loss of performance. The faster component needs to adapt to the rhythm of the slower part. It's like buying a Ferrari SF90 fully loaded, but when you need to choose the tires, you buy the Xiangyang one for 20 euros each. You'll be stuck at 80 kilometers an hour max, not because the Ferrari, our GPU, can't go any faster, but because the tires, which would be the rest of the system, especially the CPU, limits the amount of power that can be handled. If you don't have a Ferrari, or the RTX 4090 in our example, and you have an RX 6700 XT, or an RTX 3060, do you need a 3900K, or are you better off with something like a Ryzen 5600? Like in my PC right here. In this build, there's an RTX 2080 Palit GameRock paired with a Ryzen 5 5600 and 32 gigs of DDR4 RAM at 3600 mega transfer per second. If you want to see the complete video build, you can check the I icon right here. Let's see if we have a bottleneck and establish a baseline for our next test, which will involve an 11 years old CPU, not even a flagship one. As we can see from our baseline benchmarks, we get the average score for this 2080. In 3D Mark, we get a slightly lower score than similar builds, 10,039 points, but the GPU is in line with other 2080s. In FurMark, it's perfectly in line, scoring 6,940 points, as well as in Even Benchmark with 1,940 points. In F1 2018, which, by the way, if you're wondering why 2018 and not the latest one, is because the 2018 was free on Steam for a certain amount of time, so that's why I have it. It scored an average of 138 FPS in 1080p all max, and you'll understand why 1080p with the second build with 110 FPS minimum and 188 max. In Minecraft, it ranged between 150 to 250 FPS. Now it's time to see the next build we'll place this 2080 in. Let me introduce you to my backup PC, the one I've used for like 4 or 5 years, and it was pretty old when I got it, but now it's even worse. And it's my backup PC because I only use it when I don't have a desktop, since I flip builds and need to access files from time to time stored on my hard drives. It has an MSI A68 HMP33 for the motherboard, 8 gigs of DDR3 1600 mega transfer per second, 120 gigs SSD from Kingston, a random one, and the star of the show, an A8 5600K from AMD, one of the worst CPU possible nowadays, and a PSU that is dangerously unreliable, which we'll need to change for this test since I don't want my 2080 to explode. We can then proceed to remove the GPU, because we're gonna put it in that PC right there, which is my super old PC, which I now use only like as a backup. We need to first make sure there's no current. There is none. Okay, nice. We can remove the cables to the GPU. Yeah. Then the small clip right there, I hope you can see it. Now it should come free easily, there you go. And there you have it, the RTX 2080 Palit GameRock edition. Pretty cool. We can set this PC aside for the moment. We're going to replace it afterwards, and we can take this dumbass. We're also gonna need to change the PSU since this is a freaking bomb. But whatever, let's first remove the side panel. Let's remove this thingy. Okay. Lol, this GPU is bigger than the motherboard itself. Nice. Okay. Okay. Okay, it's in. We should be ready to go actually. And I'm gonna change the PSU of camera, so let's do that. And let's try it out. Let's see. Oh, it paused. I'm going to install the, of course, this is Windows 10 since I cannot use Windows 11. I'm going to install all the drivers necessary and I'm going to benchmark the hell out of this PC. Let's do it. Aside from the fact that it took me 4 hours, like literally, to install NVIDIA drivers, and to install F1 2018, I decided to do it on my current PC because otherwise it would have taken so long. The results were terrible, as expected. Not only do we obviously score much lower in CPU performance, but we also lose 50% of the GPU power. You get the same results with a 1050 because of this bottleneck. In 3D Mark, the GPU score is 5315 points, while in Even Benchmark it scored 1977, which is way closer to the Ryzen CPU. This can be explained by how these benchmarks are structured. 3D Mark simulates our real-life gaming experience, while Even Benchmark focuses more on raw GPU performance for overclocking and stability testing. In games is where the difference is most noticeable though. In F1 2018 it scored half the FPS, 58 average, 38 minimum and 71 max. With this build right here, the Ryzen one, in 4K it scored better results. In Minecraft it barely reached 10 FPS, making it completely unplayable, of course. This video is to demonstrate the need to allocate your budget wisely for your PC build. If you skimp on the CPU, motherboard or RAM, even with the best GPU available, you won't benefit from its full capabilities. Moreover, you'll likely upgrade your GPU more often than your CPU. So consider future-proofing your PC with a slightly more powerful CPU than you currently need, making it last in the long run. Thank you so much for sticking until the end of the video. Make sure to hit the subscribe button and leave a like and a comment with your current PC specs, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao!